Welcome back to a special episode of our Stories from the River podcast. Today, I'm here with a familiar face, our host of the Stories from the River podcast, Charlie Malouf. And we're here to talk about a really exciting project. So Charlie, welcome to the pod.
Yes, interesting being on this side as a guest in the studio. Manny, I like your outfit. You look like you're ready to go out west, maybe Montana or something, fly fishing.
This is my typical Focus Friday attire. But thanks for noticing, Charlie. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, maybe it has something to do with the theme today.
It might. We'll see.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
Well, thanks, Charlie, for being here. Thanks for making time. So this special episode is all about our upcoming project for 2025 as we venture out west, as we contemplated, as we looked at, and as now we finally announced our journey, our pioneering journey to go out west and look at this amazing opportunity in Spokane. And so with that, Charlie, how did this come about? Like, how did we even get this on our radar?
Yeah, that's a great question. Head west, young man, is the word we heard. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Spokane growth announcement that we announced, going into a 101,000 square foot former Macy's at NorthTown Mall in the heart of the retail district in Spokane, Washington. And we're a couple guys from Charlotte, North Carolina, Fort Mill. What are we doing? Well, that's a great question, Manny. So why are we doing this? How did it come about? Through a random conversation with Kevin Thompson, one of the executives on the Ashley Global Retail, Ashley Furniture side, just about some opportunities that were coming about a little bit over a year ago at this point. And he said, "Oh, are you interested?" Sure. Yeah. Why not? So why would we be interested? Well, there's a lot, we've shared our ways that we look at growth openly on this podcast and with our people. And, we love growing in our current stores. That's why we've been on this journey of renovations and remodels and grand reopenings to the Ashley 7.0 model. So you always got to focus on your current stores. Any retailer should look at their same store sales as a key indicator. That's right. And so we always want to reinvest in our current stores. And then we look at our current markets and we want to optimize for our market penetration, our market share, and we look for the white space. And, that took us into a couple new stores last year, into Aiken, South Carolina.
Rock Hill.
Into Rock Hill, South Carolina. And the year before that, into Salisbury, North Carolina. That's white space with our Ashley store concept. We look at new concepts within our current markets to really kind of continue to extend our brand, our infrastructure. And so that's been like our Ashley outlet story. It's a different concept as we look at customer segmentation. And then we look at new markets, and you can look at new markets be a greenfield or where there's not an existing Ashley store, or via acquisition or merger. And so we've looked at like growing from a strong base and a geographical base where we could kind of get there in a drive and back and sleep in our own beds at home, right? A day trip. And, and so what we know, so what do we know? We know that through 21 and 2022, we had really exponential growth, a lot of pandemic tailwinds with stimulus funds and people at home and reinvesting into their homes. And so we saw, 33% growth from 2020 to 2021. And then we saw, 23% growth from 21 to 22. And then what have we seen since then? Well, a lot of macroeconomic headwinds, higher interest rates, slowing housing starts, and we just knew we were at these lofty levels and they probably weren't as sustainable. So our revenues have slowed down the last 2 years, and it's been challenging to find ways to grow but at the same time, we talk a lot about this. Our leadership team has really been hitting on all cylinders. We've really strengthened and fortified our balance sheet and our financial well-being as a company. We've got healthy organizationally. Our KPIs, we're hitting it on a lot of. I think we're operating at a really
high
level, and our leadership team has matured and grown and have really become intrapreneurial, entrepreneurs within their own department and within their sphere of influence within the organization. And we know that we will grow as far as our people will take us. We're not.
That's right.
And so we've historically looked at adjacent markets, and sometimes, those markets are available and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And so we've got a company that's poised and ready to grow. And so you can grow with, acquisitions if there's a willing seller, but there's got to be a lot of cash, or sometimes you can use debt. So we've become debt averse in our kind of this season of Broad River, and but also you're inheriting like their locations, and we know there's so much into site selection, and so as we studied the growth opportunity into Spokane, to get to your question why, we really broadened the aperture and said, can we cascade our culture to another part of the country, the world, and that we can't get to with a day trip, a drive, right? And so that's a challenge for us. Can we cascade our financial wherewithal, our optics, our operational system, our way that we approach it? And so that's one thing, but we've got to find new revenues to grow because, our infrastructure costs are growing, our labor costs are growing, and we've got to, figure out how to continue to not be too comfortable with where we are, but to really challenge ourselves, and really to do it in a way that is still living within our harvest, but being willing to kind of step outside the box a little bit. And it's not just about Spokane, it's about doing it the Broad River way, building out the market, and then what kind of that might open up for us. And so, as we looked at it, it's a market that we could go in where there had previously been an Ashley store operator or two, but that we could enter the market with our own site selection. And so we went to work on researching the market, researching the opportunity. What we discovered is Spokane's a large market. It's a sizable market in the United States. It's a market size that we understand very well. It's nearing 1 million in population. I think it's like 800,000 people in the metro area. So that's a good sizable market when you look at and they buy a lot of furniture in that market, right? And so the potential to go in and say, hey, can we find real estate that we think is an A or an A+ location, a strong location at a reasonable cost factor to the organization that puts us in a position to then go take our culture, our people, and grow. And let's see who raises their hand. So those would be some of the reasons that we kind of looked at and said, let's broaden our aperture. Let's see what, and a phrase that I said in this process was, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And are you willing to kind of dig and dig through the dirt and find the gold? Yeah. And so I think Spokane can be a beautiful market for us, a beautiful market opportunity. And when you do this, if we do it well, Manny, I think that we will prove something to ourselves, or not. But if we do it well, we'll prove something to ourselves, and that will open up other avenues of ways to think about growth and growing our company for us. But if it doesn't work, it won't have shattered the mothership. We'll do it in a fiscally responsible manner that's a strategic bet, but in a strategic endeavor, but it opens up things for us. So I think that's a little bit how we got here.
Well, thanks, Charlie, for the in-depth, really, really well thought out answer there. I probably have 2 more questions if we go at this speed. No, I appreciate it because I know so much. This wasn't a decision that happened quickly. And I appreciate that we, with really good partners, took the time to understand it. And here's what I heard you say, which is really cool. The plan's been there for our growth plan. It's been right there. It's been staring right at us. It is that 4th pillar. It is greenfield and acquisition. And so it's a very natural thing for us to contemplate and for us to discuss. And so what you just heard now is really a lot of the questions that we asked ourselves as we went through this process, right? And so it's just kind of playing back to say, yep, here's what we looked at. Here's why we looked at. It's interesting when you talk about the market size, it's comparable to like a Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I fully answered your question. So, you mentioned partners. I do want to call out, one of the first questions we had was, well, we need a really good real estate broker.
That's right.
And I thought we might need a local broker. And I was wrong. We got a furniture industry specific broker. And so we partnered with the Julius Feinblum agency and our good friends David Lucas and David Hale. And I tell you, those guys are hard workers, man. They're grinders, and they went to work. And we took site trips. We went with executives and representatives from Ashley Furniture. Their business development team, their marketing specialists were instrumental in helping us understand the market. They were very excited for this endeavor. We studied Spokane, Spokane Valley, Northern Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Post Falls, Idaho, Pullman, Washington, Lewiston, Clarkston, Washington, Moscow, Idaho, a lot of the different markets, the entire DMA of Spokane. And so really, when we looked at Spokane, we looked at several sites and through multiple site visits and a lot of negotiations. Maybe it's a capital efficient way to grow, to start from scratch. It's a longer term. I mean, we're 14 months into this, and then we found the right site, and we worked through the lease and the letter of intent, the LOI, the lease, and that's a long process. Right. And the site we had changed owners while we were in negotiations, so that introduced a little bit of variables. But we're super excited about how we're going to go into the market. That was something that was really important. Like, how do we enter this market the right way to put ourselves in the best position possible? So we found a great location in the heart of Spokane's retail corridor on North Division Street in a former Macy's. And so what will be challenging around this project, I'd love to get your take on this, is because you took a site visit with Tim Sales, and I said, Manny, I think you're going to really like this site. It's got some opportunity. So it's 3 levels. We don't even have a 2-floor store. It'll be our first multi-level store. It'll be our largest store, 101,000 square feet in a former Macy's, connected to the mall, the NorthTown Mall, which is the largest shopping center along the I-90 corridor between Minneapolis and Seattle. So it's a big deal mall in Spokane. It'll be our largest renovation effort to date. Just 3 time zones, 2,000 miles away. No big deal. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
Yeah, it will be. It's a big opportunity. It's a big challenge. To go through some other things that we've heard here is that we make better decisions together. And that includes amazing partners like David and David there from a real estate standpoint. That includes our Ashley reps who are on the floor, who met us out there to help us really tour the market. That includes KT, Kevin Thompson, who recently won. Congratulations, Kevin, because I know Kevin likes to listen to these pods or watch these pods. The Ted Lasso Award, the Executive of the Month for Ashley Global Retail. So congrats, Kevin, on that. It is a unique opportunity. And it's not even an opportunity where, hey, we're accustomed to going into a 30, 35, 40,000 square foot box, Charlie. No. We said, let's go big. Let's go big and let's enter the market in a really meaningful and intentional way with not 1, not 2, but a 3-story beautiful building, a former Macy's there in the heart of retail in Spokane. And so what got me excited about when I visited was really seeing what could be. Anytime we go into a construction project, you have to kind of think and imagine about how could we see our memory makers interacting in this location? How could we see our memory makers interacting and spending time with our customers in this location, really with the purpose of, as you know, furnishing life's best memories. And so what I know to be true is that there will be a lot of furnishing life's best memories across that 100,000 square foot plus location. Some of the specifics that really get me exciting is the sleep shop. It will be a destination. Over 80 mattresses there in that sleep shop with, all of our, thankful for all of our partners like Tempur-Pedic and Tempur-Sealy with Stearns & Foster there. We'll have Ashley Sleep represented there. We'll have Purple. So excited about what that sleep shop will do in that marketplace.
Nectar.
We'll have Nectar. Bed gear. Yeah. Oh, so many.
Well, I mean, so the 3rd floor will be this expansive sleep shop. The main floor will be the Ashley store,
The 7.0.
the 7.0 store. In the first floor, which when you go down on the escalators, it will have escalators in it, will be the Ashley outlet. So it's really a 2-in-1 store, but it's really a two-in-one, a dual concept plus, because it's with the expanded sleep shop, which will be larger than probably any mattress store in the town.
Absolutely.
And, we wanted to put our best foot forward. If we're going to be 2,000 miles away, we wanted to do it the Broad River way, and give ourselves every opportunity for it to be successful. We want to put ourselves we want to position ourselves in the best factor. I also want to call out Sean Murphy. He put a lot of time and effort into this from the biz dev team on Ashley. So really it's going to be an iconic store that we can get super excited about. What's been cool to me is to see how many people from core Broad River have raised their hands and said, hey, if you need me, I'll go out there. Some have said, I'll move out there. Some have said, I'll go out there for 3 months or 6 months. I'll help you get it open. And, we call it Project Cascade. There's the Cascade Mountains in Washington and that part of the country, but there's also it's a Project Cascade because it's a double entendre, because we want to cascade our operating system and our culture over to a whole other part of the world, the country, called the Inland Northwest. A lot of people say, hey, you're going to the Pacific Northwest. It's actually the Inland Northwest. I think it's a 5-hour drive inland from Seattle to Spokane. So, and we want to build out the market. It'll be a multi-store market for us eventually. And so we want to build it out. But this will be a really important first next step for us.
So you've heard here on the podcast about our desire to continuously get better, to continuously improve. And that comes from a spirit of wanting to continue to learn. And so I know how much emphasis you put on yourself and us collectively as a team about being these learning athletes, athletic learners. And so what are you most excited about learning about throughout this process?
Well, this may be for your perspective. How we just do, remodel a 101,000 square foot box, multi-level, and do it, on time, under budget, 2,000 miles away. I'm excited to figure out how you learn about that, you and Tim. It'll be different for how we operate. We're not going to be able to be as much of have that much of a loading stocking dealer initially, so how we learn about the customers and demographics and really grow when we add a store to an existing market today, it's just plugging another spoke onto the wheel.
That's right.
And so that has a less of a degree of difficulty. But when you go from 0 to 60 in a market, you don't have the synergies or the turns or the and so really, to how we staff it, how our people really embrace it, how we try to learn to think smaller. You have to think like a one-store operator for a period of time, and how that's going to change our operation. So it introduces some new challenges for us, and we're going to have to think smaller before we kind of think larger in a lot of ways. And I'm always interested to learn kind of the real estate landscape, how we might handle a brutal winter, and how we, what is it about, the industrial market there? We still have got to select our distribution center for the short term. And I think then for the longer term, so I really want to understand what our revenue penetration will be once we start to get a mature density of stores in the market, so that we can think about, what the best way to approach our long-term investments in distribution centers. I think that's going to be another big challenge for us.
Well, I'm excited about the challenge. Excited. Thanks for reiterating the on time and on budget. Love to get those in. We're excited about that. Here's something else that excites me, and I know excites you and I love to hear more about is the what if. What if we can go 2,000 miles away and take this Broad River way, this blueprint, and really, continue to grow, continue to, really reinforce and challenge our leadership team that, as you mentioned earlier, is so ready and capable of taking this on. Then what?
Yeah, I try to be pretty careful about guarding my comments on things like over-promising. I like to under promise and over deliver if I had to choose. I never want to throw a big swooping, kind of a vision that I'm not confident we can achieve or obtain. I want to make sure there's teeth behind it and substance, undergirding whatever kind of vision we put forth out there. But I'm open to the possibilities of what it might open up to us. I mean, I think that there are adjacent markets to Spokane in the United States. So if you look westward, or if you look eastward, or south of that we would be open to embracing, and what that might look like from greenfield or acquisition type opportunities. That's what I think the what if is for us. But we have to win the day, and we have to earn it every single step along the way. And we need to go focus on doing a good job, doing a great job with excellence in Spokane, doing it the right way where others have had struggles before. So that's not going to be easy. We've got to go compete in a market that's got other entrenched retailers in there, and we've got to get our fair share and do it in an excellent way where we earn the right to have conversations about that what if. But I'd love to have those conversations. I'd love for us to earn the right. And I'm open to kind of what that might open up for us as we look around corners.
Love it. I love it. The what if conversation is great, and you're right. You're exactly right. We have to earn the right. Okay, so now that we have all of these new listeners, all these new subscribers from the Spokane area, I'd love to hear you just talk directly to them. What can they expect as Broad River comes to town with our memory makers? What can we expect out there in Spokane?
If we do our job in Spokane like we do our job in our current 33 stores in the Carolinas, you're going to get a great shopping experience. You're going to get it's not going to be a pressure sale experience, but you're going to have I would say, a trusted home furnishings consultant or professional or expert who's going to welcome you into a well-lit, vibrant, beautiful, top-of-the-notch store where they're going to be glad to see you, and you're going to have great values at fair pricing. I like to call it Ashley's legendary values, exclusive collections, and then we're going to be able to get it to you quickly and get it to your home with precision, with care, and look after you on the delivery and post-sale, and hopefully invite you back in to purchase more with us for your next project. So I think it'll be something that the people of Spokane have been looking forward to or need, and so that's what I would say. And then in the community, we always want to be good stewards and be mindful of our organizational weight with those who we come in contact with, and we want to reinvest in our communities. We'll have a Hope to Dream alive and well in the Spokane market. We'll be, I'm sure, collecting donations and with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, one of our partners. And so we'll be giving back in the local community through our volunteer efforts and through our programs like St. Jude's partnership, the partnership with St. Jude and with a Hope to Dream. And so we'll be looking for opportunities to really give back and reinvest back into the community because the communities where we live, work, and play.
That's right. That's right. I love that. We strive to be additive to the community, additive to that beautiful environment, and to be really intentional with how we do that. Yeah. So I love that, Charlie. Okay, so
well, let me ask you, what are you most excited about?
Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna ask me questions.
Well, I'm used to accustomed to this.
What am I most excited about? Well, I'm really excited about the growth. The growth, not so much growth. Yes, it's important to your point around growth from a company standpoint. I'm excited about the growth for our team, for our people, of what it does, what this Project Cascade does, as far as having us to really rethink. We are going to have to think like a startup, like a small operator there, and really lean into what it will take. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about having one monster location and then having to fulfill those promises, those orders from a smaller DC, and then kind of earning the right to continue to then open a second location and a third location, and really then seeing how scale really helps a business. So it's I'm excited about learning.
Dare I say, we'll have to think like pioneers.
Well said. Well said. We will have to think like pioneers.
It'll be great to see how this Spokane store, and subsequent stores fit within our culture? Are they joining our Monday GM calls? Where they're on 8:30 Eastern? Are they up at 5:30? Are we doing multiple GM calls? And how that store competes, and are they coming to our annual awards galas, or are we going to theirs? I mean, so things like that we'll have to kind of work through.
That's right.
But can we cascade culture, and what do we learn through that experience? In that part of the world, which is a great part of the world. It's I've taken my family to Spokane and traveled through that area. It's a beautiful part of the country. And so let's go be adventurous and figure it out, get onto the frontier.
I was just about to ask you. So you've been out there a couple of times. And so the folks want to know, like, what stood out to you? I mean, for those who are hearing about Spokane for the first time, like, what can they expect when they visit this beautiful location? What stood out to you there?
About Spokane market, not the store. Yeah.
About the market.
First of all, the nature, I didn't get a chance to go see all the different parks and the outdoor activities. But if you look up Spokane and that part of the world, there's a ton of them, and the proximity to like national parks and things of that nature, which we love to go see those. It's awesome. But if you like to be outdoors, if you like hiking, if you like fishing, if you like boating activities, there's a river that runs through downtown area. I'm a foodie. I like to eat. There's a lot of good restaurants in the downtown Spokane area. So I think you'd have a plethora of things to look forward to and activities to look forward to. Or you can just go catch a basketball game at Gonzaga University or a football game at Washington State, the Cougars.
The Cougars, yeah. So you got it's college town. You got the Zags right there in downtown. While I was out there visiting, I was really impressed with like how many local coffee roasters they had. Some of the best coffee that I've had actually brought back a lot of coffee to share with family. And so I really was impressed by how hospitable and how friendly everyone was. I really enjoyed the traveling outside of not just in Spokane, but outside as you got to the valley, to Spokane Valley, and then across the state line to Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls. And so it's a beautiful part of the country.
It really is. Yeah. The coffee's a great call out. I love coffee too.
Yeah. And so Charlie, my final question to you would be message to our memory makers about Spokane and what will impact them and what should they look forward to hearing from us over the coming months about this amazing next chapter?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It's a good question. First of all, this is our year to be pioneers. So we're part of our pioneering journey and the pioneering spirit is we're going out west. We're working on this project. I still get text messages from folks who say, "Hey, I'll go out west," or "I'm going out there. I'm serious." So if you're a current memory maker, and you want to go out there, raise your hand. We could use some folks to help us cascade our culture. And otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. Keep winning here at home and in your own store, because it's going to inspire others out west in our other stores, as well as maybe within our current stores. So keep doing what you're doing, keep being excellent, keep furnishing life's best memories. And it's because of your work and your efforts that you've helped us put the company in a position to grow in this way. And so as we're trying to create growth opportunities for future memory makers for not just the next quarter, but the next quarter century, it's because of your efforts each and every day that help us do things like this. We will grow as far as our people will take us. And so let's keep growing together.
Yeah. Well said, Charlie. And I'd like to echo that. Thank you to all of our memory makers for helping us earn the right each day, winning each day with that mindset. That is why we can be here today and talk about this exciting announcement. So Charlie, thank you for taking the time today to really walk us through this big announcement, but really give us kind of a behind the scenes look on how this came about. And so congratulations. I'm excited to venture out west and to pioneer. By the way, for pioneering and venturing out west, this is about as Western as it gets for me. So I know how much you love that part of the country. I'm excited to spend some more time out there as well. But we're looking forward to this project and looking forward to this beautiful building.
Giddy up. Let's go.
That's right. Folks, have a good rest of your day. Thank you again for tuning in and joining us on Stories from the River.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. To watch this episode, go to youtube.com/@storiesfromtheriver. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.